Okay, so I'm doing a Taylor Swift song from her album Midnight. I'm doing a song once again, I know. I'm waiting for the hype for these two albums to go away before I actually do a full review because I don't like doing hypes. I don't like doing reviews on music that's hyped right now. So I'm waiting. So I'm doing these in song sections part. So we're gonna talk about this song, and to some extent, I have been hearing that this song has helped people get through miscarriages. And before anybody says, that's a very tough topic to cover, and you shouldn't be making fun or making light of it because those are things that happen to people. I know, I have, um, I've seen people in my personal life experience it, so I by no means am I making fun of it. I just want to get a guy's more perspective of this song and how they relate to it, right? Because it did help. I've heard that it helped people understand it and get a better understanding of what happened and kind of, in a way, pay their respects. So, in no way am I trying to um, disrespect anybody, say that this song isn't as powerful. None of that. The song by Taylor Swift I am reviewing is Bigger Than the Sky, Bigger Than the Whole Sky. And before I get into that review, there's some logistics that I have to talk about because I know I run the risk of people saying, okay, so you don't know your audience. And to some extent I do. I know my audience is majority males, cis males, or majority of it is males though, I think, or people that identify as males. And a small portion of it is females. And then the non-binary people fall right under them. And I've heard people talk about this song, but I haven't heard a guy's perspective on this song. And so I'm going to talk about it. And so if you're not a huge Taylor Swift fan, or you can't relate to bigger than the whole world, I would recommend probably not listening to this episode because this episode's gonna get a little. I'm gonna try to explain it two different ways, and that's what I only intend on doing, is trying to explain it two different ways. But this song isn't something that it's going to it's gonna take probably a toll on me, and you're probably gonna hear the toll that it takes on me, right? It takes a toll on me because I've kind of experienced that same thing that this woman has, but only as a guy in that situation. So I kind of wanted a guy's perspective on this song. So in doing that, I took a week. I took a week to listen to the song all the way through repeats, and see the emotional value of it, which isn't really different. I normally give a song 2 listens before I judge it. However, I wanted to see it if certain times during the week, if this would affect me, or would I get an emotional appeal to it, or would I have an emotional reaction to it. So I'm going to kind of talk about it, but I do wanna say that this is from a guy's perspective that isn't necessarily related to the related to that process as much as a woman is. So I do want to preface that by saying that, but I do also want to make this strong point that I do know my audience to some degree, but I also I run the risk of a lot of things in this episode. I run the risk of saying a lot of things that probably shouldn't have been said, or that they come to light. And so for the most part, I'm going to try to be very respectful. I'm going to try to walk this tight line, And I would just put you like this: whatever your political views are or your moral views, when you listen to this episode and you listen to me try to explain a song, leave those views at the beginning of this episode, because I try to go into things unbiased, and for this part, I'm probably going here a little biased, right? A little biased on a standpoint, or a little more informed than majority of my audience. So I do want to talk about it, but I do think there's a certain way to handle certain situations, and so for that to be said, I have to look at that realistic goal, and I have to put those standards in for myself. So I'm going to put those standards in for myself, and we're going to talk about this episode. Real quick, let's see what any sponsors, and I'll get right into it. Sorry if this intro / background information seems a little bit long, but this is a song that I have experience in dealing with. If this is that song that this woman is helping somebody with, right? And it's odd, right? But it's something that has to be talked about. So we're going to see if we have any sponsors, and I'll get right into it. Sorry for this long introduction or this background information.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, how to get 30, how to get 20, 20, 20, how to get 20, 20, how to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Okay, so we're going to look at this first verse by Taylor Swift. And the first verse is, "No words appear before me in the aftermath. Salt steams in my eyes and into my eyes. Every single time I touch, I become sick with sadness because it's all over now." Which, to me, could be the point in your life where you have lost somebody, and the salt streams could be the tears, right? The tears coming out of her eyes, which to some extent I get. Like, it's a very sad moment in time where you're after the aftermath of losing somebody or losing a pregnancy. It takes a toll on you, especially because it just takes a toll on you, because it does mess with your emotions a bit, because you have connection with somebody, no matter if that's somebody that takes 9 months to make, or if that's someone that you've known your whole life and they just instantly go out your life. And it's very sad, but Taylor Swift is great at what she does, and she points the picture at it, and with her doing that, it just seems amazing to me that she staked this, because she is, in my eyes, she is a person that creates an is a great storytelling. And this chorus cannot get out my mind while I'm thinking about it, but the chorus is, "Goodbye, goodbye, you were bigger than the whole sky, you were more than just a short time," which makes me think that either the person was young when they died, or she's talking about a miscarriage, which the two don't have to correlate, right? But either or, they bring out an emotion in you that the person has died and either went to heaven, right? Because she says, "You were bigger than the whole sky. You were more than just a short time. Like, you were here probably not a long enough time with me, but you will always be remembered," right? And I've got a lot, and I've got a lot to live without. I'm never gonna meet what could have been, what should have been, and what would have been. Which this I don't know, this affects me in a way, right? Because in those moments, right, from a guy's perspective, right, I'm healed I took some time off. It takes time to heal. I was grieving very badly. I kind of still am. But she says that I have a lot to live without, just because you think in a certain amount of months you've grown to love somebody, love to connect with somebody, or something, right? And you either they die and it's the most. It seems in the moment the very saddest thing in your life that you have to live without somebody, right? And so, to that extent of if it's somebody you've grown up with, somebody in your family you've known, a friend, or a miscarriage, right? I think this is meant to pull ties, and to some extent, it does exactly what I expect this song to do, right? Because it is true to while music is very subjective, I think when you add a short amount of time, I'm never going to meet what could have been, what would have been, and what should have been. I think she paints a very broad picture. Now, this might not be her personally, but this could have been somebody she knew. And that chorus playing throughout this song is just something that I can't really explain, right? Like, it's not something you can just explain and just think, okay, yeah, this is the best way to explain it, because this is the only way to do it. No, that's not the only way to do anything. But this chorus, it's a strong chorus. It's a strong Taylor Swift chorus, but it's a strong chorus because if anybody has sung this chorus, but I do think Taylor Swift was the best person to sing this chorus because she paints a picture in a way that a lot of people cannot. So, let's talk about the second verse where she says, "There's some bird fan in the wings. Did some force take you away because I don't pray, or I didn't pray, right? Like, I didn't wish for good things, so evil kind of stepped in and said, okay, then if you're not grateful and if you're not happy for this experience, or you don't want this experience," is what a lot of people go through, especially with pregnancies, that they go through a different range of emotions. But as I said, this could be friendships or whatever, somebody you're close with, friends, it could be anything. But I think it's a sad thing, right? Like, because I think, and I know I'm speaking vaguely here, but I do know a lot of women, and I know some guys that were like, okay, something went wrong during the months that, we had this planned pregnancy. And to some extent, I think when you're grieving, because when I was grieving, I was like, I did something wrong, right? And I think, I got that fixed, right? I did a lot of different things. I plan on doing a lot of things to deal with that grief in different ways. I think, for example, the show was another way that I put my grief into something, right? So, it's because I know for the woman it must feel that I didn't do something right, but it also, for the guy, I think it's like, well, what could I have done? Did I stress her out? Did I do this? Did I do something that wasn't helpful? Did I cause her stress in any way? Did I cause bad eating habits? Did I feed her the wrong food? I think it goes through a lot of guys' minds, and you never really get an answer, right? Or you're like, hey, did I not pray enough? Did I loosen up on something? Did I loosen up on religion? And that caused that. Or did I sway away from religion to do something because I thought it was better for us at the time? And it kind of messed with God's plan, or whoever you really believe in, like Buddha, just whoever you believe in, right? Like, a lot, if it's just didn't mess with your plans. Now, I do know some women that are pregnant now, and I do hope them for the most part that they carry it to full term and that they're healthy. They're both healthy. But I do wonder. I think when she writes this song, I think it's very subjective, and I think you go, okay, this is either about a pregnancy, a friendship, or something that is just too close to somebody. As I said, this bridge and this chorus are very emotional, especially for me. I think, looking back, right, like, I think, to give a better timeline, I'm going to give a better timeline. So the timeline was, February 15th. So right right behind Valentine's Day. So I don't know. So I was not doing well, right? And I think there aren't groups to help men or guys or really non-binary people deal with grief of something like that. And grief isn't an emotion that a lot of people are supposed to show or whatever. Look, I don't care about gender norms and stereotypes. I just think, if this song came out in 2021, I think it's a great song. If you ask me, it's a 7 out of 10. I think it's because I have more of an emotional attachment to this song. But I think if you can't relate to it, it does seem to put the score down. But I don't know. Like, this message is deep, right? But I do wonder if there's ways around it where the stuff could have been prevented. And I don't know. I don't know to. I don't know. I don't know. Because in my own way, I grieved with it and I dealt with it, and I'm still dealing with it. I did it in my own way. I made hoodies and hats, and I've dealt with it in my own way, and I take that day off to celebrate that, right? But I've taken my own steps to deal with it, and this isn't my thing to just rant about how I've dealt with it, but I think there should be more ways for guys to deal with stuff like that, to deal with loss, and not bottle them up, and where they just feel that their input or their thoughts don't matter. And so Taylor Swift releasing a song and it being extremely subjective, but I think you can relate more to it if you've been through a situation where it's been like short time experience, and through those short amount of times you've witnessed stress, death. It's a weird thing to look at, right? Like you have to go in here with an open mind, but I think Taylor Swift is such a great storyteller that it could be overlooked, but it's something that has to be looked at because of its attachment to one thing or another. And I just, I didn't think it was going to get me. So the first day, it didn't really hit me. It hit me a little bit. The second day, it hit me. Third day, it hit me. I finished listening to it yesterday, which was The Week. It really did hit me, and it's still hitting me now. Going through these lyrics and just going through the script again, and it's just, it does make you emotional. It does, and to some extent, that's what the song's supposed to do. But, man, I do wonder what I could have done better. But yeah, so that's enough. It's a 7 out of 10 song. I do want to create a resource for people that's dealing with stuff like this to have a place to go to. So that's my 2 pieces on it. That's from a guy's perspective on it. But overall, it's not a bad. It's really a great song. It's just you gotta have emotional ties to it.